Recently, I was scrolling through Instagram and I found a few accounts that are completely devoted to the crop circle phenomenon, and it made me realize that I really don't know much about them. So I took some time and I did my research, and what I found was pretty interesting. Crop circles are strange patterns that appear mysteriously and often overnight in farmers' fields, and they do everything from creating fear, delight, and intrigue for the press and the public alike. This mystery has been studied for decades now and has inspired books, movies, blogs, and fanatics. But the question still remains: who or what is making them? Many people are adamant that crop circles have been reported for centuries, and this theory has been supported by many books and websites devoted to the mystery. And these people primarily point to a piece of evidence from a woodcut in 1678 that appears to show a field of oat stalks laid into a circle. And many believe that this was the first eyewitness account of a crop circle, but there's little investigative evidence to actually support this. The woodcut actually illustrated a folklore legend that I had just read about called a mowing devil, which, according to legend, was when an English farmer told a worker that he would rather pay the devil himself to cut his oat field instead of paying the fee that he was quoted. And if we look closer at the photo, the circle was created by something that's not as unknown or mysterious, but the devil himself, complete with his horns and his tail. Now, other people claim that the first crop circles appeared in Tully, Australia back in 1966, when a farmer claimed that he saw a flying saucer rise up from a nearby swamp and then fly away. And when the farmer went to investigate, he saw a circular area of debris accompanied by flattened reeds and grass, which he assumed were made by the alien spacecraft. But according to both police and investigators, it was much more likely to be caused by natural phenomena, like a dust devil or a water sprout. So, just like in the 1678 mowing devil legend, this case being called a crop circle is actually pretty weak, especially if you consider that the formation was not made in a crop of any kind, but instead ordinary grass, which, according to other lore, could be the cause of fairies versus our alien visitors. Okay, so what about modern crop circles then? When I was a kid, I watched the movie Signs, and it scared the hell out of me. And I was actually convinced that every time I passed a farm, which was pretty often given the fact that I grew up in rural Ohio, that it would shortly be under siege by aliens. Well, the first modern crop circles didn't appear until the 1970s, when circles began appearing on the English countryside, and then suddenly, the number and complexity of these circles just exploded. These circles would continue to appear before reaching their peak in the late 80s and into the 90s, and that's when the over-the-top circles were produced, including those that were illustrating complex mathematical equations. And then in July of 1996, one of, if not the most complex crop circles appeared in England, right across the highway from the mysterious Stonehenge monuments on the countryside. This was an astonishing fractal pattern called a Julius set, and while some of the simple or rough circles may be explained by a strange weather phenomenon or bored cattle, this one clearly demonstrated intelligence. And now we're just left with the question, was that intelligence terrestrial or extraterrestrial? The other variable adding to this mystery was that it was claimed that this circle appeared in less than an hour, and unlike most crop circles found on farmers' land, this one appeared during the daytime. However, just like most odd mysteries I investigate, this circle had in fact been made in roughly 3 hours by a group of hoaxers, and it simply hadn't been discovered until that afternoon by a passing airplane. So we're left with a question. Are these crop circles all a hoax, or is there some validity to this unnaturally occurring phenomena? Well, unlike other mysteries like ghosts, Bigfoot, and the Fae, there's no doubt that crop circles are real. The evidence that they exist is overwhelming. So I guess the real question is, who makes them? Crop circle enthusiasts have come up with many theories about who or what creates the patterns, ranging from some that are more plausible to some that are just outright ridiculous. One of my favorite explanations was from the 1980s. That's when it was stated that the mysterious circle patterns were accidentally produced by the vigorous sexual activity of horny hedgehogs, but other people are adamant that the circles are instead created by oddly precise wind patterns. But there are still those that firmly believe that an extraterrestrial group is responsible for the circles. Some state that the patterns are created by their spaceships or even by an invisible energy beam that's coming down from space, so they don't actually have to physically come to Earth. But regardless of what theory they subscribe to, most crop circle researchers admit that the vast majority of crop circles are created by hoaxers. But these same researchers are also adamant that there's a remaining percentage that they can't explain, and that's the reason they continue their research. So, what do you guys think? This was a really fun topic to research, and I still don't think I actually have an opinion, so I want to hear yours in the comments down below. And with that being said, I think we're going to have to add the mystery of crop circles to our never-ending, but are always growing Tales from the Dark.